Hi everyone, I'm Karen Itin. I am a creative business coach and I'm here today to help you and to talk to you about production and how you can make your shop run more efficient. Yes, we all want efficiency. We all want to be able to produce products and to be productive and to be able to do a quality job. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. So I have 5 tips here for you today, how to be more productive in your shop. I think that's an awesome way to start off this week. So we're going to talk about system and how your shop is set up. So you want to set your shop up so it's good for you and it works for you, but you also want to set your shop up so it runs smoothly. And once you start to cut out your items, your product or clothing or whatever it is you make, or you want to be able to cut it out, and then you want to be able to have your straight stitch machine close by, and you want to be able to cut and then stack it next to your machine. Use maybe a little nestling table right next to your sewing machine, your straight stitch machine, whatever machine it is you use at first, and then get that process going. And so be able to make your shop efficient. So then after you get done sewing, you may need to do some pressing some seams. So then you'll want to have your iron set in close proximity to your straight stitch machine. So this way you can cut, you can sew, and then you can press. And then if you need to press and go back and sew again, your straight stitch machine is in close proximity to your iron. So these steps are really important. I ran a service-based business for 25 years. At one time I had 3 shops, 3 little locations. And I know how production can cost you time if you don't do it efficiently. So you want to make sure that whatever it is you're making, you're doing it the best way that you can, and it's running as smoothly as it can, and you're being proficient and efficient at getting things in and out the door. So you want to learn your own system. So you want to work in that area for quite a while and start practicing making things, and to be able to see what works for you and what doesn't. If you find yourself running for different threads, or you're running for interfacing, or you're running for maybe packaging stuff after you're done pressing everything and you're ready to package up your things to be able to sell or to ship out, you want to make sure that the boxes are close by, or the wrapping, to your garment bags or whatever, are right there by your iron. So you're able to grab those. I used to keep mine underneath the table, and I would just pull them out as I needed them. Either bags or plastic wrap to wrap the garment if it's hanging. So whatever it is and whatever way you package your goods, you want to make sure that you are, you have your supplies right there and on hand. And then you want to think about having your supplies not only at the pressing table, but also at your sewing machine. So I used to have my sewing hand silk threads at my top stitch machine, so I didn't have to go and take steps to go and get it. Or I would have my button thread there also, where I could sit in one location. I could grab my hand stitching silk threads, I could grab my button thread, and I had 3 or 4 different cones of the color that I needed before I sat down. That was the most popular colors coming through the line, and I was ready to change colors and go on to the next one. And then so you don't want to be backtracking for your other supplies that you need for each task. You want to make sure that they're in the location that is designated for that, and no one is running all around the shop looking for different things. You have it all right there in close proximity. And then efficiency. From the time you cut out your products and start assembling your products, you want to make sure that you're making more than one at a time. So you want to layer your fabric. You could go like 3 or 4 layers and be able to cut out more than one time. You could use fabric weights. They're a little bit faster. Just depending on what it is you like to do. Some people are starting to Scotch tape their pattern to their fabrics, and then they're cutting. So it just depends on what you do. Pins take a little bit more time. I mean, I do believe in pins, and sometimes I would cut out and I'd only use about 3 pins. I use the longer pins So they're easy to go in, the thickness of the fabric, the thicker fabric. And I'd only use it in about 3 places. That way I could cut and I could only take out 3 pins and go on to the next pattern piece. So that's what worked for me. So you have to figure out what works for you. But the less pins, the better and more efficient you will be. And then you want to begin to think about how your shop runs and what changes you can make to improve your production in your shop. Think about all of that. Think about each task that needs to be done for your particular garment or product, and what are the steps that you could take to cut down some of that time. You want to cut down some of the time, but you don't want to take away the qualities. You want to make sure that the quality and the end result is still, beautiful and the quality is there, but you can cut some of the steps out maybe. And then you want to think about what machines are offered and what tools are offered to help you in your shop to become more efficient. Is there a cutting tool that you could use that would help you? Maybe a rotary cutter, or maybe electric scissor, or what is it that could help you with what you're doing to cut down some of the time that you're taking to cut out some of this stuff, or to sew it. Maybe there's a machine, maybe part of your product or whatever, you do a little hand embroidery. Maybe there's a machine that you can get and do the same embroidery stitches on there and just run it through a machine and do the embroidery, and then you can be more efficient at actually making the product or garment. So you want to see if there's some ways that you can cut out some steps. And then what shortcuts you can do to get the same result. That's what you want to think about. What are the shortcuts that you can do without taking away from the quality of the product, that you can still ensure the quality, And then time management. You want to clock how much time you're spending on this product or this garment or whatever it is you're making. A lot of people don't do this, but they're probably not efficient or productive. So in order to have a business and to be able to run a business and to be able to sell things at a faster rate online, you have to be efficient, and you have to be able to make some changes in the way that you do things. You have to have an open mind for that. And then, so you want to think about, how much time is it taking you from the time that you start to cut off the fabric from the bolt or from the square of fabric that you have or whatever. How much time from the time you cut out one product, and just do it on one product. So cut out one product, sew it, cut out one. First you want to start your clock. You want to start the clock when you put your fabric on the table. So you put your fabric on the table, start the clock. You want to put your pattern piece down, you want to pin it, whatever it is you do, your process, and the way that you've been doing it. And from the time that you put the fabric on your table to the time you're ready to press it for the finished pressing and package your goods, how much time has it took you from the time that you had the fabric on the table to the time that you're getting ready to put it in a packaging, ready to ship out, or ready to ship out, go into stock? So what is the time frame there? How much time is it taking you for one product? And then once you get that, then you can kind of do some time for how long it's going to take you to do multiple, times that by how many you need to make in a day. So then, think about some of that, And then how can you do it better and more efficient? What are some steps that you can do, and you can change some steps? Maybe there's some steps that you do where you do some stay stitching. Well, is stay stitching really that important? Maybe instead of stay stitching, there's something that you can do, like an iron-on interfacing that kind of holds everything in place instead of doing the stay stitching and running the machine and charging up your electric bill. Maybe there's something else that you can do where you don't have to do the stay stitching step. Just think about your steps that you need to do your product, and think about what it is, how you can cut it out. Is there a step that you're taking to do that you could somehow fold the product, fold it differently and sew it where you don't have to take an extra step. So think about all of that. And then fabrication, how does your supplies come? So when you receive your products, either I hope you're, buying wholesale. So when you receive your products, you want to be able to handle your products. Now, a lot of the fabrics nowadays, they come in very large quantities if you're doing a business, for wholesale, or they come on a big fabric bolt, or a regular bolt from a fabric store. They'll put it on a bolt and you may be getting, 15, 30 yards at a time. I don't know what your situation is, but it depends on what it is you're ordering. So anyway, but if you're ordering large bolts or bits of fabric, you want to make sure that you're somehow cutting it down to be more manageable for you. You're not struggling every day with that big bolt of fabric and working off of that big bolt of fabric. So for instance, I'm going to talk about eyeglass cases here. So the example. So if you're making just eyeglass cases, so you might want to just take off like 2 or 3 yards of fabric from the big bolt. This way it's more manageable. You can layer your fabric. You're not working with that big bolt. You leave the bolt sit, and you just cut off the yardage that you may need. Now, if you need to cut out a dress, you may need to cut off 3 to 5 yards of fabric at a time and to be able to cut out the dress, So you want to think about this and to be able, instead of struggling with that bolt of fabric, how you can be more manageable with your supplies that are coming in, and how you can, better move them around in your shop and not wearing yourself out. And then you want to make sure that the fabric is pre-shrunk, especially if it's 100% cotton and it's coming from out of the country. We don't know where some of these fabrics have been or where they are, and they may picked up some sort of a germ, or they may just not have been in a good environmentally mentally friendly situation. So you want to at least wash and pre-shrink your cottons, and then if there's some other ways that you can do your other fabrics, that would be great as well. And then sewing in production style. So this is where you can really start to pick up some speed for your shop. Doesn't everybody want speed? Raise your hand, yes. So you want to pick up some speed in your shop so you're being more efficient and more productive. So you want to start sewing in a continuous run. So once you cut out all of your 100 pieces or whatever it is, how many you're going to cut out and start off with, you'll have a little nestling table next to your sewing machine. You'll stack up your cutout pieces next to your sewing machine, and then you'll start to pick up the 2 pieces. Say if it's a eyeglass case, you have 2 or maybe 3 pieces to it. Maybe you have 2 pieces that go together, right sides together, and then you also have a third little flap on it to close. So you have your 2 pieces, and you'll sew around those pieces, and then maybe you'll go ahead and sew the flap on as well, and then just run it out of your machine. Just keep running it with the thread going, and then start your next 2 pieces with the flap, sew all of those, and then just keep running. Don't clip your threads or anything at first, and then just keep running it out and just sewing. Just focus on sewing and pushing the products through the machine and getting all of them to go off of the machine. And then what you can do is you'll have some sort of a box in front of your machine, maybe a big tub, a big Tupperware type tub or box or whatever it is, and let them all fall into your tub. And then you'll get up from the machine and go and trim off all the products, and then you'll take them to your pressing area, press all the seams, and then you'll probably take them back to your sewing machine and maybe do a lining for the inside, and then that's a whole nother process. And then you'll run all the lining through the machine, and then you'll start to put, the third step would be to put the lining and the fabric together, and then you'll start stuffing the lining in the product and then start sewing it, and then you'll have your finished product. So you'll want to sew in production style. That's very important to save you time. You will get faster and faster at doing it this way, and you will make money in the long run. And so then for the bonus tip today, I just have where you really want to do quality control either on your own or have someone else that can do the quality control where they look over your sewing and they make sure that it is efficient and it is a good quality product, that the threads are not loose, they are back stitched threads that's not going to come apart, that the sewing is, you know, in straight rows, it all looks good. It functions, it's still the same size that it needs to be to hold the glasses. Your glasses can still fit in there and it can close like it's supposed to. So take all of this into considerations for a really quality product of your own. And that's really all I have for you today. I mean, I just, you know, I love talking about production style sewing. I love talking about how to make your shop more efficient, how you can make money. It's all about how you can improve your shop, improve the quality of the product or the garment or whatever it is that you're making, and how you can get it from start to finish in an efficient and productive way and ready to go out the door or ready to be in stock and ready to be shipped. So that's what I'm all about. So I love helping people to be more efficient in their sewing shops. And so you're welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions. You can put a comment below. I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you would like to comment, if you would like to contact me, I will put the link below this video for you to go to my Acuity scheduling. I will take a 30-minute free phone conversation with you. I would love to talk to you about production and your sewing shop and what we can do to improve your situation or your product or whatever it is you have. And I just, you know, love helping people. So anyway, you can also go and learn more about me and learn more about my actual system that I take people through and to help guide them to learn more about being a business owner and to be more productive and learn how to sell online and learn a lot of these things that they can be able to bring in their own income. So you can go to powerfultalents.com, and there at the top of my website there I have my link that you can go and watch my webinar, and it will give you a lot more information about me, a lot more information about what I do, what I love to do. It talks about my life a little bit, and so it may help you. And so that's all I really have. I want to thank you always for watching my videos. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, if it was helpful and I can make more. So just let me know, and I'll talk to you again soon.